Whoa, they weren't kidding when they said that this VHS tape was very popular back in the day, because I spent 3 months on a waiting list just to be able to rent this bad boy. A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. I'm Kevin Porter, and you're watching Video Rental Chaos. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. In the 2 years of producing this show, I think this has to be one of the most anticipated films in the whole Video Rental Chaos series. Dream Warriors was released on February 27th, 1987. With only a budget of $4 million, it went on to gross $44.8 million domestically at the box office. With the return to basics, Freddy Kruger took over the world with this film. Welcome to Video Rental Chaos, bitch! Now let's jump right on into A Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3. We open up at Kristen Parker's room, who is eating instant coffee and drinking Diet Coke in order to stay awake, and to stay away from the man who is haunting her nightmares. Once Kristen's mother comes home after a night on the town, she forces Kristen into bed and into dreamland. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you is sung as Kristen embarks on her dream journey inside the home. Soon we encounter Freddy Kruger for the first time in this movie as he almost takes Kristen's life in the opening scene. She is then admitted into Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital. We are introduced to Dr. Neil Gordon and Max, who's played by a young Larry Fishburne. We see Dr. Gordon checking in on a number of the patients as well. He and Dr. Sims begin to discuss the new psychiatrist, but is then immediately called to another area of the hospital as Kristen Parker is having a complete meltdown. All of a sudden, a returning Nancy Thompson appears and completes the nursery rhyme for Kristen, bonding them forever. We cut to Dr. Gordon speaking with Nancy about how she handled Kristen earlier that day. It's been revealed that Nancy has been taking Hypnosil to suppress her own night terrors. This is also where we are introduced to a mysterious nun. Nancy is at Kristen's home to get her things and finds the papier-mâché Elm Street home in her room. That night though, Kristen is again taken to the Elm Street home and encounters one of the most out of their interpretations of Freddy Krueger. Penis Freddy Krueger almost takes out Kristen again, but we were then shown that Kristen's dream power is the ability to bring others into her dream, as Nancy encounters Freddy Krueger for the first time since the original Nightmare film, as they narrowly escape death. She confronts Kristen about this and lets Kristen know that the man in her dreams is real and very dangerous. We are then able to have a sit down with all the kids as we are introduced one by one again. You have Philip, Kincaid, Will, Taryn, Joey, and Jennifer, as they all meet Nancy for the first time. So, we're at the end of the day as Will, Joey, and Taryn are playing Wizard Master. Taryn's character is killed off and Max comes in to let them know that, hey, it's lights out, buddy. Joey and Will argue though over who has the first shift to stay up in case the other has a nightmare. We then have a cutscene of Nancy and Dr. Gordon at dinner where Nancy tries to explain to Neil what is going on. But Neil, well, he's not on that level as of yet to accept the truth of Freddy Krueger. Speaking of Freddy Krueger, he pays Philip a visit in the middle of the night and acts as the puppet master. He then strings Philip up to the top of the tower and cuts him loose as he falls to his death, all while the kids watch in terror. We have a group session the next day where the kids try to work through Philip's death. Kincaid totally loses it and ends up in the quiet room. Luckily though, we have Nancy trying to defend the kids, but all of a sudden Neil tells Dr. Sims that he wants to prescribe Hypnosil to suppress their dreams. Jennifer is in the TV room trying to stay awake and not focus on Philip's death. She's able to convince Max to let her stay up though. She begins to watch a late night TV show program where Zaza Gabor is chatting it up with Dick Cavett, when all of a sudden Freddy Krueger appears on screen and appears to kill Zaza. Jennifer starts messing with the TV when all of a sudden Freddy's arms and head pop out and the classic line, "Welcome to prime time, bitch," is uttered and movie history is made forever. We see everyone at the funeral of Jennifer. We then learn more about this mysterious nun character as her name is revealed to be Sister Mary Helena. She begins to tell Neil that the only thing that can save the children is the unquiet spirit must be laid to rest. Nancy approaches them, but all of a sudden she's gone again. At this point in the film, though, Dr. Gordon appears to be ready for the truth about Freddy Krueger, as Nancy tells him the story. The next day in group, Nancy breaks down the history that these kids are in fact the last of the Elm Street children. They begin to experiment with a group hypnosis as they try to figure out their dream powers. Not knowing that they were already in the dream, Joey wanders away from the group as the hot nurse begins to lead him on. Things take a turn for the worse as mid-makeout session, Joey gets tongue-tied by Freddy Krueger. Well, and the rest of the group is almost taken out also. They all wake up and it's code blue for Joey, as both Nancy and Dr. Gordon are then fired. Neil has one more interaction with Sister Mary Helena as she reveals that Freddy Krueger's bones must be laid to rest in order to kill him for good. While Nancy sits at Joey's bedside, she demands that Freddy Krueger let him go. Well, Freddy Krueger sure did have some words for her. At this point in the movie, Neil and Nancy then track down Nancy's father as we see that he has lost his job with the local police and is now an alcoholic security guard. At first, he has no interest in showing them anything, but after Gordon is paged by the hospital and it's revealed that Kristen was being locked in the quiet room, time is short as they must find Freddy's bones. Dr. Gordon takes it upon himself, though, to force Donald Thompson to take a road trip with him to a church to secure holy water. Then they must travel to the junkyard to bury the fucking thing. Nancy arrives back at the hospital and barely makes it by Max, as she has to say goodbye to the rest of the kids. The decision is made that they have to go into the dream world to help Kristen and Joey fight Freddy. Once in the dream world, they all end up in the quiet room with Kristen, but Freddy is quick to act and tears up the room, thus separating all of them. Kristen is back in her bedroom, and we think this may have all been a dream from the get-go. That is until Kristen's mom head is ripped off by Freddy as he got way too impatient waiting for the bourbon. We then see Taryn in a dark alley as she runs into Kruger as well. Unfortunately for her, the temptation to get high was just way too much as Freddy injects her with God knows what and kills her instantly. Will finds himself in a dark hallway and appears to be facing death also, as Freddy Krueger is going to run him over with a wheelchair straight out of the 15th century. Will summons the Wizard Master powers and takes on Freddy, but it's revealed real quick that Freddy doesn't believe in fairy tales and kills Will in the process. Nancy and Kristen then meet back up and are joined by Kincaid. All of a sudden a door appears and leads them to Freddy's hell. We find out that the souls of children are what have strengthened Freddy Krueger and made him so powerful. Freddy then realizes that his bones were about to be laid to rest as he transports to the junkyard and kills Donald Thompson and almost kills Dr. Gordon. Soon, he comes back to the dream world and in the House of Mirrors begins to take out everyone. Joey finally finds his dream power and screams, "No!" thus breaking the windows and saving the rest of the group. So we are led to believe that Freddy is finally dead. Donald Thompson appears in the dream, apparently to say goodbye to Nancy as he is dead and going on to heaven. Freddy is not dead and he kills Nancy! Kristen is then trapped in the room to fight Freddy, but in one last effort to save her, Nancy stabs Freddy with his own glove. All while Neil is able to lay Freddy's bones to rest and kill Freddy for good. The final scenes of this film are at Nancy's funeral. It is shown that Sister Mary Helena was in fact Amanda Kruger. Neil is then shown sleeping with Nancy's dream in the papier-mâché Elm Street house, when all of a sudden the lights go on and we're led to believe that Freddy is not dead after all! Somebody's gotta be the Dream Master. Needless to say, this is one of my top Nightmare on Elm Street films. I constantly flip-flop between Dream Warriors and the first film being my favorite. This film was a constant rental when I was a kid. It was always my go-to if I was introducing someone to the Nightmare franchise. Plus, Dawkins' Dream Warriors is possibly the best song of any horror film throughout the decades. Well, I wasn't old enough to have seen the MTV Freddy craze in person. Is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors the best of the series? A lot of people will say yes. It's really hard for me to pinpoint exactly if this is or is not the best in the series. If you ask 10-year-old Kevin Porter, what is your favorite Nightmare film? He'd probably say Dream Warriors, followed closely by The Dream Child. Let me know what you think of Dream Warriors in the comments section. And until next time, I'll see you at the video store.